Event design is my passion. A lot of people try to withhold information. For me, I give it all. So I divulge anything that I've done, right or wrong, what didn't work, it may work for someone else. I give it all. There is no secret to it for me. It's, I want you to be successful.
Look, God told me to meet him at a runway with no parachute, with no baggage, leave the negativity behind. Ever since, I've been taking off, and I never looked back. I'm your host, Alex E. Edwards, and this is the Gem Drop Podcast. I did it. I got Ieasha James in the building. Now, why this is so important? Because it's like, imagine if I discovered Uber before Uber was Uber, right? Ieasha James is going to do phenomenal things in this world, and I'm just excited that, you know, I had the opportunity to get her in studio to talk to her now before she doesn't have time for me, right? I mean, best of Boston 2020, Boston Magazine premier event designer. She has a design firm that create magical experiences, in-home dining, which, and I tried it, and it was amazing.
Yes.
With a chef, live music, videographer, of course, food, and the table was crazy. It was like an image of the city, and I was blown away. My wife put it together, and it was 30. And we always talk about birthday 35 because Ieasha James was involved, and we always say 35 was the best birthday. That my wife will say that. All right, which it was a phenomenal birthday, but you have to trust the wise what they say, you know, because they're like, oh, what about the other birthday? Trying to set me up. And she's a business coach, and I think that is important because she figured out something that works for her, and now she's like, you know what? It could work for you. It could work for you. It could work for you. A lot of people get to the top like, nah, I need to be lonely at the top. I need to be the only one up here. And I just love the fact that she's just giving back knowledge and saying, hey, come to the top with me. So we have the one and the only Ieasha James in the building.
Thank you. That was an amazing introduction.
No problem.
I should just take you on the road with me and you can just do the intros.
So you stunting already on the road.
That was amazing. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure working with you and your wife for the in-home dining that you spoke about. Your wife is amazing. I love her. We speak on many occasions. But yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. So questions. I would say it looks like in 2014 was your first post?
So it was my first post. However, let's talk about Endless Flair as a whole.
Yep.
I was working a corporate job for 17 years. So I worked at BMC, 17 years, 4 different positions.
Doing what?
Started Endless Flair. Multiple positions. So a phlebotomist, I worked in admitting. I left as the manager in finance.
Okay.
I left
gotcha.
in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I've been doing event design full time since 2020.
Okay.
But God had told me to leave long before then, right? You know, you get all these signs. It becomes very anxiety driven. Nothing's working. And since I am a thought provoker and I love to speak for people, especially my people, I made myself a target. Right? So they just made it very uncomfortable. But I believe it was God because he says, I have something bigger for you, but you're holding on to this because you think this is your comfort. Like I will not be able to provide. So I left. I went out on FMLA. 3 months, they posted my job. I'm still like, oh, I could possibly go back. Then God just totally eliminates the job. He's like, you know what? Because you're still not listening, I'm going to eliminate it. Then they were saying, oh, I can't guarantee your salary. You're going to have to apply as if you're new into the organization. And that's when I decided to take the leap of faith and bet on myself and do event design full time. I never saw myself being a full-time entrepreneur. I knew that I would possibly have a full-time job and do things on the side.
And why? Just curious.
I think it was just fear. And initially with event design, I tried to work for or do an internship with one of the top design firms in Boston. And they told me I needed a degree. So I've never gone to college. This is a God-given talent. right? And so, yes, do I take courses? Do I go to summits, seminars to, increase my talent and better myself? Absolutely. But I didn't go to college. There was no college for event design, like interior design or hospitality. Absolutely. They told me that I would need a degree. So I said, you know what? I'll just start doing events and I'll get a portfolio and I'll show them, right? Instead of myself, I'll show them that I can do it. Then I got pregnant, 2015. And I said, okay, there's no option to work for someone else for 80 hours. And then I have to sacrifice time with my son. So now there's no choice but to start your own company. And so that's when I started Endless Flair, but took the full leap of faith in 2020. And now I do it full time.
Okay. So you said I wanted to prove them wrong instead of proving me right.
Right.
Did I hear that?
You did hear that. So I think there was just a lack of confidence because I did not know everything I needed to know about the industry at that time. And since they were so experienced, it was also proving to them that I am capable of doing what I'm saying I'm going to do, although I didn't have the portfolio. So initially I thought of it as I needed to prove to them. But I really needed to prove to myself that I was that great and I was on that level. Had I had the budget and the right clients, I could make it happen.
How about the support around you? Your friends,
Amazing.
family?
Amazing. I have a great support system. So whenever I'm feeling low, the people around me, especially my family, I could draw a circle and they'll think it's like the most amazing thing. And they're going to support in any way, whether it would be financially. When I first started, they were the ones helping me set up events because, of course, I couldn't afford to pay staff. So my family, they're there putting on chair covers. We're doing florals. We're doing the most. So my friends and my family, great support system.
Oh, that's amazing. So, all right. So you're pregnant and you say, I'm starting a business.
Yes.
Right? And so was that the first post in February 5th, 2014?
It was.
I stalked you.
It was.
And I was like, let me check.
You did your research.
Yeah, I couldn't believe you was in business that long. I thought you just came out of nowhere.
Right.
I'm being ignorant, naive. I'm like, yo, this woman is point blank. You're amazing.
Thank you.
I'm like, every time you post, I'm like, Jesus, my 40th. I'm saving up. I'm gonna save up so I can afford Ieasha James for my 40th birthday.
I'm excited.
That's in 2 years, right? But I went back and I'm looking at your history, and it's funny. Social media is like digital resume, and I'm looking at your photos. Early on, you literally said, "I'm going to be a professional."
Yes.
Very early.
Yes.
Your photos are amazing.
Thank you.
Right, and then the signature hairstyle.
Yes.
Right, I saw it straight, and then the signature hairstyle came and never left.
Yes. So that's intentional.
Yep. Let's talk about it.
So let's talk about that. It honestly, it makes people pay attention to me, right? So
can't miss you.
Yeah, as you already know, like public speaking and things like that, getting better at that, but it gives me anxiety. I'm an introvert. So I said I have to be more intentional about my look, which forces people to talk to me. So the hair, one, is big. One, it's blonde, people are going to talk to me. I wear bright color clothing. I do not wear black. Right? So everything is bright. Everything says talk to me because I'll talk to you. So it's very intentional. And my background is also in fashion. So I used to produce Broadway style fashion shows and train models before I did design. So I know a lot about fashion. I know a lot about the luxury market, and I just use that to my advantage. And I also coach on that. So as a business coach, I'm a business coach for the event industry.
Okay.
Right. So if you're breaking into the industry, whether you're a balloon artist, event planner, designer, photographer, it doesn't matter. I coach you to get to where I am now, like to the elite status. Right. And it's very, very robust. It's hands-on. It's intense. Right. But all of the clients that I've had thus far, their businesses are doing great. And that is honestly my purpose in this life. Event design is my passion.
Stephanie was here.
Oh.
And she spoke about you.
Did she?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
You was like the best thing that happened to her.
Oh, great.
In her company.
I had a few coaching sessions with the event designer here in Boston. Ieasha James from Endless Flair. And so she really helped me to figure out how to price right. And that was really, really big because I was doing events, right? I was doing weddings, but where's the profit?
Okay.
You taught her the ropes, and she basically wouldn't be where she's at without you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
She said that in that shit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So you talking about your clients? One of your clients was here.
That is beautiful. And I love the fact that your podcast is called Gem Drop, right? And so in my industry, a lot of people try to withhold information, right? They call it the gems so that no one can compete. For me, I give it all because I believe I'm my own sauce, and what God has for me is for me. So I divulge anything that I've done, right or wrong, what didn't work, it may work for someone else. I give it all. There is no secret to it for me. It's I want you to be successful.
And I think the funny thing, I was just talking about this the other day. Like, man, the more I give, the more I get.
Yes.
I think this is a cheat code.
Yes.
I kind of feel bad about it, but I don't.
No.
So I'm like, I'm giving this for free.
Yes.
I'm getting like this opportunity,
Yes.
that opportunity, and you never know what someone needs until you know what someone needs, right? And just the information that you give up, or the inspiration, or your post.
Yes.
Your post could inspire the next person.
Yes.
And
That's
you
the
didn't
goal.
you never spoke to them.
No.
They're looking at you, right? And we're gonna get back to your post. So I started to realize it's some, I want to say, process, or all the photos start to look like by itself a corporation, like it's falling in line with your brand,
Yes.
right? And I'm like, yo, do you post your own stuff?
I do.
Oh,
I do
my
my
goodness.
own marketing. I am looking for
Jesus.
someone, but I do all my own marketing.
How do you keep up with everything?
I feel like I do everything in my time. I don't try to keep up with everyone.
Yeah.
I post when I can post. I post when I feel the need. Like when God speaks to me, I'll pray on it. I'll meditate on what is to say. I don't post just to post. I don't say anything.
Yeah.
It usually comes to me that somebody needs this today. I'm very transparent. I'm very vulnerable. I know sometimes people are like, oh, here she goes again crying online. I'm totally open to who I am. I am an emotional person now that I have a son. I never was, and I think this is just like overflow of tears. But my son has humbled me. He has softened my heart. So I share that with the world. And when I'm feeling deeply, a lot of the time, it's not even what I'm going through. It's the world.
Yeah.
And so I definitely share those moments as well, because the goal is to help people. My purpose is to seed into people and help them become their best selves. That is my purpose in this life.
And so I'm a Cancer, so I'm emotional too and sensitive.
Yes.
Very. But that's what makes me great.
It does.
I don't focus on my weakness.
One of my favorite people are the same sign, Conan, which is
Yep.
my brother. His birthday's today.
Yep. Happy
Tries
birthday.
to act like he's not emotional, but he is.
Yep.
So
and
I
he
get
looks out.
great human,
And he
right?
looks
You
out.
guys are great humans.
And he looks out. So all right. If I wanted to become an event planner today, what's the first thing I should do?
Get a coach.
Get a coach.
Get a coach, get a mentor, one to decide what do you want to be, because an event planner, an event designer, an event coordinator,
What's the difference?
they're
Can you
all
break
different.
down
So
the
an event designer, that's me. I am responsible for transforming spaces, bringing experiences to an event. I do not really deal with logistics. So I'm not dealing with your food or your invites, scouting locations, RSVPs. I'm not doing any of that. I am responsible solely for the look and the feel when people walk in. What do you want people to experience and remember for the rest of their life when they walk in?
Got it.
A planner is all logistics. So sometimes you have a planner that does both. They'll do design and they'll do planning. A lot of the time, a planner is only logistics, and they may team up with a designer like myself.
Got you.
Which is what I'm doing a lot with my corporate clients now. They'll have a planner, and they're hiring me to design their events. Because
Got you.
not everyone can walk into a space and figure out how to transform it. And a coordinator is more so day of, to make sure the flow happens. But they're three different things. So when people come to me and they want to be all of them, one, can you pay yourself to do all of the jobs? All three of them are very time consuming. And a lot of the time we don't have big enough budgets to pay ourselves for one job. So we break that down, right? Like, what are you more passionate about? And then we hone in there. So if someone comes to me, one, or says they want to do it, I would say get a coach, get a mentor. It will save you years.
Because I didn't
of
know
stress and time.
I didn't know the three hats.
They don't either.
I didn't know the three hats.
Yeah.
I thought it was like event planner is an event designer.
No,
The whole time.
no.
Okay. And I thought event planner was the coordinator as well.
No.
Got it. All
But
right.
they can be. But a lot of the time it's just because people don't understand the difference. And then they feel depleted because they're doing all this work and it feels like they're not getting paid.
Got it. So, all right. I hire you as a coach.
Yes.
Describe my first month.
So your first month is 2 sessions. So it's
First quarter. I'll say
Okay.
first quarter.
So it's 6 sessions and it's 2 a month. We start off with every single session with mental health. Really, really big on mental health and mental health is my biggest thing in life. I have ADHD. Not sure if you knew that. I battle a lot with depression and anxiety. And so if you cannot get control of your mental health, especially in this industry, very toxic industry, beautiful but toxic, you will not be your best self. I can promise you that. So every single session, we talk about your mental health. Where are you? What are you doing for self-care? For you, to love you. Before anyone else, family, anything else. Like you are what matters. So then we start off with, is your business legalized? If you're not, we go through that whole process. Like, do you have an EIN, a DUNS number? Do you have a website? A lot of them don't even, I'm coaching people that are breaking into the industry. So a lot of them don't have business names. So they don't know that whole process. I connect them with my accountant, with my trademark attorney, everyone to get their business completely legal. Once they do that, now we need to create what type of client are you looking for? Who is your target market? And a lot of them, of course, they're going to say elite, right? But you can't start off there.
A lot of them going to say what?
Elite clientele,
Elite? Okay.
right? And you're not starting out the gate with that kind of clientele, but we can work you up to there. Now we're going to do a mock shoot. You need to show me what you're capable of because you want to attract these clients, right? And they're visual. These clients are visual. They want to see video. They want to see photos. Yeah, you can send a nice email, but they want to see what you can do. So now you need to show me, create a mood board and everything else. Let's see what your design style is. And I help them with that. I help them like understanding table settings and
What's a mood board?
that. Like you can go on Pinterest or you can go on Canva and have a template. And then there's different squares and you can put chandeliers, the type of furniture you want to use, how you want to lay it out, like the pieces you want to use.
So do you ever write in like, I want them to experience this or I want them to feel like this on the mood board on top or something?
No, it's really, it goes according to your aesthetic. Everyone's aesthetic is different. So if you have clients that more boho vibes, like very natural, like wood feel, outside. So that's typically what your brand is going to consist of. If you're real simplistic, then I need to see that because we need to tell a story as to what type of client should reach out to you.
Gotcha.
Or who you're trying to attract. Like I have a client in Bermuda, which is completely different than here. A lot of the stuff we need here, they don't need there. And so her clientele is different. She is trying to attract, she's a designer, but she also has a venue. So we're focusing more on her venue because I feel like you can make more money there first, and then we can talk about design. So it all depends on where someone is, but they would have to do a mock shoot. They set it up. It's a branding shoot as well. We go through your name, your logo, your brand colors. I'm told that I give out way too much for the price point, even by my coach. She's like, you need to either charge more or have less sessions or cram them into smaller months. But where I'm at right now, my biggest goal is to make sure people are successful. Correct. And I know it's a lot of work that I'm giving them, and I need to be intentional about that. I only take 4 clients at a time. So when one drops off, I'll take another client. There's no way I would be able to help someone really get their business to this level if I have too many clients.
And that's extremely important because you just told the entire world it's not about the money.
It's not.
It's about the client.
Yes.
Because you're taking 4. I mean, if you, I would believe everybody wants you as a coach, right? So you could probably take 20, but like you said, if you focus on 4, you're most likely to get them more success than you focus on 20 or 100 people.
Yes. And I mean, of course, I plan to scale eventually to group coaching. But right now, since I just started coaching last year professionally, when I worked at BMC, I had 60 staff. I mentored monthly. We sat down for a whole hour every single month. What do you want to do, even outside of here? And let's create that plan, right? So I've always been a mentor. I used to mentor for Chica Project as well. But with this is bigger than money. This is God telling me this is your assignment over your life. And so I'm still working out the tweaks. I always ask for feedback, like what could have been better? You know, what can I do different? So yeah, no, it's not about the money. I make money doing the events, right? So this is not a cash cow. Now people have to pay. We have to all pay for something, but it's not like I'm trying to get rich off of people.
Got you. So how long is the course?
It's 3 months.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
3
so
months.
it's 2 sessions each month. It's 6 sessions. And then you can continue if you want. But I get them all the way up to launch.
Got you. And so can they always call you or?
They can.
Okay.
During the 6 sessions,
Yeah.
you can call me whenever you want. Like some of them,
But how about after they launch?
no. Now we're going to pay for sessions.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
So if you paid for 6, you're going to get 6 and at any point in time. Like some of them can have their first big client. Let's say it's 15,000, which is big to them. I don't know what to do with this budget. Can you help me? Or sometimes I'll hop on the phone with them during a consultation to see how they're running the consultation and why they didn't seal the deal and give that feedback. So again, that's why I only take 4 because it's so much, right?
So I like you said logo, you said accountant, you set up the LLC, EIN. I mean, that's like you should be off running. The DUNS number, business credit too.
Yes.
Oh my, game over.
Yes.
That's just amazing. That's amazing. A lot of coaches, and I'm not talking bad about anyone, but a lot of coaches will give you minimum and you still lost.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, I just signed up. What you doing? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing next.
Yes.
But it was good information.
Yes.
So I'm happy that you actually creating a foundation
Yes.
for them to be successful because that's extremely important.
And it was everything that I needed.
Yeah.
So I always said when I got to a certain level, I will try to create the blueprint for people coming into this industry because nobody helped me. Yeah. I asked people to mentor me that were where I wanted to be, and they said no. No, not in Boston.
And like,
yeah.
Okay,
and they said no because you can mentor from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
They said no. So I made a lot of mistakes getting to this point. And so I said, when I get to a certain level, I'm going to create the blueprint. I am going to coach people that are breaking into this industry and help them so they're not as lost as I was.
I will never understand why some successful people are threatened because someone is like not even want their position, but want to be like them, or they inspire someone and they want to be in the same industry.
Well, I think it's a lack of
understand
confidence. I honestly think it's a lack of confidence, and it's a little bit of fear of thinking someone. I mean, first of all, there's 1 billion people on this planet.
Correct.
It's like there's so many clients. There's no reason to not share and not help. There's enough money for everyone, and that's how. And my client may not be your client.
Correct.
You know, everyone has their own ideal clientele, and I believe it comes from a place because I've attended some summits, workshops, and tell all. And then I have probably 2 questions. This is before I transitioned.
Yeah.
How did you transition from corporate America to this full time? Nobody can answer the questions or not willing to.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to be like that, which is why I also started my workshop that happens in November called Art of the Table. It's a 2-day workshop, hands-on. So you learn florals, you learn balloons, you learn design. And then I have all my vendors as panelists that will talk about the industry, Q&A. And then I have guest speakers because I need to pour into the people.
When is this?
It happens the 2nd week in November every year.
2nd week in November. All right. And how can people sign up?
So on my website, but I haven't secured a location yet for this one.
Okay, gotcha.
But everything's on my website. But I started that 3 years ago because I've attended workshops and they were not helpful. And I'm spending $2,000, $3,000, $10,000. And like you said, walking away still not knowing what to do. And for me, I think I overgive because I don't want people to feel that way.
Yeah. So I left corporate America. I was working at Citizen Bank at the time in Brighton. And my first job when I was 19, real job, was Bank of America in Coolidge Corner in Brookline. And being in Brookline I grew up in Phil's Corner.
Okay.
And being in Brookline gave me the opportunity to see a different world than Phil's Corner.
Yes.
And when I hanging in Brooklyn, I'm like, wait a minute, it's more to life. This is first time meeting a Russian. I'm like, yo, only time I seen a Russian was on a Rocky movie. and then I started going on vacation and then seeing credit scores. Then I seen millions of dollars in bank accounts. I'm like, wait a minute, this is real.
Right.
And then I seen people coming into the bank at any time of the day, happy, coming from the gym, leaving the gym. And there was real estate agents, right? And I was cashing their checks. And I'm like, this is amazing. So fast forward, I got a job at Citizen, didn't like it at all. Just didn't like the people I was working with. And the regional manager told me, you got to prove yourself to me. It was a brand new one. I just proved myself to the last one. Now I got to prove. And she said it while she was sitting down. She didn't stand up and say, hey, my name is. And that's the day I knew.
You quit?
I quit.
Yes.
No, it was no 2 weeks. It was probably 2 minutes.
Congratulations.
Notice. So I'm 23 years old. I quit. I ain't gonna lie. Gonna be honest. I'm a Cancer. I'm a man. I ran to my mother. She was at Walgreens on Gallivan Boulevard, and I was crying. And my mama said, I never worried about you, and I'm not gonna start today. And I never went back to work.
Amen.
So that's how I left corporate America.
Yes.
That's how I left, and it was the best decision ever because you can't truly find yourself unless you're by yourself.
I agree.
Right.
And I also want to always speak from the point of entrepreneurship of it's not for everyone. And I don't want to glorify it, right? It's great. We can design our lives, decide how much money we want to make, right? You have the freedom of time. But it is a wear and tear on your mental health, like none ever. Like what I battle with now is so different. And thank God I am a strong person. But I feel for the people that do not have a strong community.
Yeah.
Like
And process.
And then just themselves, right? You're not mentally strong. And that's why I start with mental health. Because it's not all this glitz and in this glory. It is tough. It's tough and it's not for everyone. And I know we're pushing this entrepreneurship. But we need workers too. We need people that are passionate about what they do, right? And so I think it's beautiful that we found a lane and it works. I stand firm to how I am. I tell everybody from the beginning, I may not be the right designer for you, and here is why. So working with me, it is a trust thing. You have to trust me. So just like how you did your research, you see my page, it's more than photos, right? So if you were to talk to any of my clients, they're all going to rave, right? 90% of my clients now come from past clients. So they're going to talk about my work ethic. But if you don't have a strong support system, this will tear you down. Entrepreneurship, because there's so many times when it's like, okay, I can make, let's say, $300,000 in 2 months, and then go 3 months without making money. So trying to figure all that out of how to make sure your money is consistent, what can you do, like leveraging your time, it's a lot of work, and a lot of people don't have the resources.
I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't gonna burn up money. I really wanted to, but you brought up the 300,000.
Well, I'm not going to bring up any more money. But what I'm saying is,
I understand what you're saying.
We can decide how much money we want to make, right? And so for me, freedom of time means a lot. Me being at the beach, I have to do that for mental health. So I try to do that every morning. Me traveling, I travel every other week. So no, I only take 12 events a year. Now, for some people, so that means I need to charge a certain amount to make that make sense, right? But now in-home dinings, I can do more of those. I absolutely love them. They're actually my favorite type of events. But
so you go to the beach every morning?
In the summer, I do.
Okay.
And last year, I was traveling to Florida every other week. And yes, I was at the beach every single day.
Taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. Because in 2019, I was in such a bad depression that I couldn't even pray. And it is only being in nature and being at the beach that gets me closer to God. So it's part of my therapy. I do have a therapist. She's Black. She is absolutely amazing. Believe in therapy. And again, I just believe in mental health and being right mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
You are probably one of the first guests that came on this show and spoke about mental health. And before they spoke about success, about anything else, you started with mental health, and your training starts with mental health.
Yes.
And I truly believe we really fall in love with everybody else but ourselves.
Yes.
And when you fall in love with yourself, it's like a whole different feeling, it's a different power, it's a different belief.
It is.
It's like you can't be stopped.
Yes.
It's and everything is falling around you, everything is going down, and you're like, who cares?
Yeah.
I woke up today.
I also do not coach people that are not spiritual of some sort. You do not have to be religious, but I know a lot of the things that I have come through has been because of God.
Yeah.
And so when I'm helping people, it's hard for me to help if you don't have that relationship. You could be whatever religion, you could just be spiritual, whether you say the universe, it doesn't matter. But there has to be a higher power, because that's the only thing that has helped me my entire life. That has always been my foundation. my family is very spiritual. So that's been the foundation since I was a kid. And that's all I know. And so in these times of fear, I know that God is always there, right? He's always present, and it's going to always work out according to his will. You know, when it doesn't, it just wasn't for me. Like, but if you don't have that confidence in yourself, if you don't have self-love, how do you get there? How do you not feel like something's wrong with you? Why can this person do this and you can't if you don't have self-love?
Look, we have Ieasha James in the building. We're going to take a quick break and come right back with more gems.
When purchasing an investment property, these are the top 3 things to consider. First is location, second is condition, and finally is your bedroom count. This will determine your monthly profit, and once you know your profit, you will know what to offer. To learn more, call Thumbprint Realty at 617-287-9000. Thumbprint Realty, real estate done right.
All right, so we left off with mental health. I want to know what did you do to get ready to say, you know what, all or nothing? I'm not going back to a 9 to 5. I'm going to chase the future me.
That was really the decision being made for me, honestly, of BMC eliminating the job. And I could have went and applied for other jobs, but it just didn't make sense. So in that moment, it was, you need to bet on yourself. Like, God has been telling you to do it. He's making everything so uncomfortable for you, and you still want to go back. And it was really that. It was really, all right, just take the chance. Because what I did know is I've always been a great employee.
Okay.
I could always get a job.
Yeah.
Right? So why not bet on yourself? Here I am with this little baby, right?
Yeah.
New baby. It's like, just bet on yourself and do it. Yeah. And I did. And I can say there's a lot of ups and downs, but it's been the most rewarding thing thus far.
Yeah. Wow. And you're doing this, and we didn't get to where you're at right now, but you're doing this and being an awesome mother, because, you know, our boys went to the same school, and I see you picking up your kid, and you're still the entrepreneur boss.
Yes.
Like, a lot of people can't even balance that.
Yes.
Being a parent, a good parent, and chase your dreams. How do you do that?
So I believe it's just because I've been very intentional from the beginning. Like I said, when I decided to have my son, I could not work for someone else. Because what does that look like, working 80 hours a week and never seeing my child, right? And so he is my priority, and that's another reason why I take 12 events a year, because when he starts to play sports and things like that, I don't want to miss those games. Yeah. I know that's important to him. He has concerts and things now. I'm at every single one. Yeah. As you know, they're happening in the morning where other parents can't attend. But I didn't want that to be my life, right? And so I believe it's all about how you design your own life and how you structure it to make it make sense. I don't believe in you need to be so busy. I don't like the word busy, honestly. I like the word productive. Yeah. I like getting things done, all these small little wins to get to the big thing, but not where you're so busy and then what was the outcome? And then the people close to you really sacrifice. You sacrifice the relationships with them when you're just busy all the time.
So I love the fact that you said, you know what, 12 clients per year, 4 mentees at a time. So you're really controlling your time.
Absolutely.
100%. No one is more in control of your time than you.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people jump in entrepreneur, like, I'm about to do everything.
Yes.
I'm going to do this.
Yes.
Yo, I'm busy. I can't be a good dad. I'm trying to get this money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's a sacrifice I got to make sure you're good. Right? And you're saying, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to create a budget. I'm going to figure out how much I need to live.
Yes.
Right? Live off of. And this is my price points.
Right.
So I can have this life and this life and be a phenomenal mother.
Yeah, and sometimes that's tough, right? Because I don't chase money. I do what I'm supposed to do. I show up how I'm supposed to in this world and believe that God's going to do his part. So that whole let me be so busy and try to have 20 streams of income, but you're really making no money, just never made sense to me. Now, I can do a little bit better in terms of like assets and things like that. I have some, but I can do better. Yeah. But for me, I live better. Like in the now.
Yeah, you will do better.
Right? I will. I live in the now. I don't live in the future. Right? And I know a lot of people do. And I know it's difficult when people hear me say that, even like my family, like, what? I would feel like you plan your whole life out. No, I don't. I live in the now. The future is not promised.
Yeah.
So what can I do today
Yeah.
to get to where I want to be? And yes, I structured it with the 12 clients. I figured out how much I need to make just so I have time.
Another good point. You said you live in the now, right? So again, becoming an entrepreneur, I'm thinking all type of stuff. Like at around 24, 25, I got my life insurance popping. I got my, I just got everything. No kids. Didn't go on Match.com to meet Joanna. Like it's nothing. Just me by myself. And I'm thinking about the future. Stuck on this future. I started buying kids' clothes everywhere I went. Like if I went to Vegas or different states.
Before you had a child.
Before I had a child, I'm gonna get me a little
Really?
girl. I had the bibs. I had Wednesdays that says cool daddy stuff. I had 25. My first child was at 30, right?
Wow.
And I now fall back and I'm realizing I'm richer dead than alive. That bothers me. Like I'm way more wealthy without my family's more wealthy without me in like around.
That's deep.
That is real deep. So I'm
That's
like,
deep.
yo, why did I focus so much on life insurance when that amount I could get today?
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, if I die, my family good. I know who I am, but why am I so excited to die and make sure my family's good?
Right.
Like I want to be alive and celebrate and blow money and have a lot more money and make sure my family good while I'm alive.
Yes.
Like, and I started doing a lot of research and I'm like, well, wealthy people don't even have life insurance. They have too much money in the bank to have life insurance.
Absolutely.
They have too many assets. I have great assets, but I have this life insurance thing again. And then I figured out term and whole.
Yes.
Right? I understood both of them, but now I really get it. So I don't think either of them is bad. It's for a particular person. I think if you're an entrepreneur, you go with term. Term, you're like, all right, well, I need you to cover me until I get to my goal.
That's
when I
me.
get to my goal, see ya.
That's
I'm not
me.
paying you at all.
So that's
right.
me.
Whole is like, yeah, I want a 9 to 5 until I'm 60.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna retire when I'm, go to Florida or something. That's whole.
Right.
You're not betting on yourself. You want something stable.
Absolutely.
You're not paranoid when it goes or when it's about to expire. You're like, nope, I want it for life.
Yes.
Right. And it took me a little while to understand the kind of person that should go with term and whole. But when I figured it out, I'm like, man, how many people know this? Like, how many people really? Because I'm from Phil's Corner, so I'm thinking I'm being naive and I'm being ignorant. I'm thinking about wealth, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be rich and wealthy, and I'm gonna have whole insurance. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have that. And then I wake up one day, I'm like, man, my family's better off without me.
Yeah. But I think the way you're thinking makes sense, right? Because I think from what I know about you, you embody what a man and a husband is supposed to be, right? So you're forward thinking just to make sure your family's good. Where, as you know, talking to a lot of, especially Black men, right? Because we're Black. They're not thinking even like that. They're living more in just in the now, and they're not thinking of being a provider, right? And I think it's great that you thought that way. And now, like, you've done some research and you understand things differently, but you're making the money to make that make sense. Right. Now, if someone's not a hustler like you, they should not think like you're thinking, because then they're going to die and their family's going to have to pick up that burden. So for you, since you're so driven to make sure you're good with or without life insurance, is a beautiful thing. I just upped my life insurance to $1 million policy, but I have term because I could die tomorrow. And I don't want my son to not have that, because I have not reached my financial goal for him to be good for a long time, right? So literally on Wednesday, just upped it. So I had my blood drawn and everything to up it to $1 million policy. But if someone doesn't have that money, or if you're well off, I think it's a beautiful thing. But I don't want people to think like Alex said, you don't need life insurance. Yes, we need life insurance, especially if you don't have the money that he's talking about.
And just know who you are.
You know who you
so
are.
You
know what
which
works
one
for
to go.
you.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You definitely should have it. Don't settle for the one that your job give you, but you should go get life insurance. But you have to understand. All right, if you say, you know what, I'm a great employee, I'm making phenomenal money, I want to stay at this job for the next 40, 50 years, whatever, you should get whole, right?
Yes.
Now, if you say, you know what, I'm gonna bet on me, I'm gonna roll the dice, I don't got a 401k right now, probably got an IRA, but I'm going to rock with term because you can get a 30-year term.
Yes.
And so that means you have 30 years to make your
change it
dreams
over.
happen.
Yeah.
30 years. If you can't make it in 30 years,
And then at that time, you can still switch it over to whole.
still
Like,
can
even if
switch
you have
over.
term, you can switch it to whole if it's
Yeah.
if it's before that 30 years. If you just feel like you're not going to reach those goals at all, like
Yeah.
you're giving up, then you can always switch it to whole. But yes, that
Correct.
makes perfect sense, and people
It's
should
the-
look
it's
at
just
it
the
that
bridge.
way.
It's just the bridge, right? Your term is bridging you to the future you. Like I'm gonna cover you just in
Yes.
case something happened
Yes.
to the future you. And once you get to the future you, be like, yo, term, hold, forget y'all.
Right.
I have too many assets. My
Absolutely.
kids is good. My wife is good. You know, my mama good. Both of my mom, 3 of my moms are good. We good. So it was just amazing to figure it out. You know, a lot of people are like, I've been figured that out. But when I figured it out, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Because I sat down with a lot of financial advisors and they told me the definition of term and whole, but they didn't put it with a characteristic of like a person.
Right.
So
And they don't, because
Yeah.
it's a money industry, right? And they don't
Correct.
they want you to really get whole. So
Correct.
they're not going to do that, right?
Correct.
It's strategic.
correct. And now I'm telling everybody, now they're like, I never thought about it that way.
Right.
Because it's simple. It's simple thinking.
Right.
It's simple thinking.
It's simple, but we're
somewhat.
not always
Sorry.
privy to. So
Correct.
I love the fact that you are dropping the knowledge that most people that we think now, like that you've acquired, that you're like, oh, this seems like common sense, but it's
Right.
not
It's
common
not.
to us.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of things that are hidden from us for a long time, and that's why when we do learn about it, we are supposed to share, right? And if somebody does something with the information, they do. If they don't, that's not on you. The fact of it is, you were given this information, you're willing to share. It will help someone.
Yeah, thank
right?
you. Thank you. So, event design, right?
Yes.
What was your biggest, I'll say, event that you ever designed? The
So
one.
not in terms of the look, but
The
the
one
biggest
most
event.
important to you. The one that was more
They're,
important or
they're all so important because
Okay.
every event, what I try to do is,
different.
so let me tell you,
Yeah.
I'm hard on myself.
Yep.
So as beautiful as you guys think everything is,
Yeah.
I'm still like, yo, that could have been better. If I would have had more money, do you know what I could have done with this?
Yep.
And I would have done that. So I'm very hard on myself. So I'm like, oh yeah, these are nice. But in terms of my proudest moments, I love all my clients.
Yeah.
I love all my events. But this year probably has to be my two proudest moments. So in January, I did the inaugural ball for Governor Westmore of Baltimore. First
Okay.
time out of Boston.
Okay.
Right. And now this is politics. So now that I'm moving a little bit into corporate and the political world, completely different. You know, in politics, they don't really do decor. But I've teamed up with Rosemark Production, amazing Black-owned production company. And now we're writing each other into everything. So they call me, interested, want this decor for this 100,000 square foot space.
Okay.
Right. To host 15,000 people
I seen that.
for this inaugural ball.
Uh-huh.
So of course, anxiety. Right. But this is like, God would not have presented this if it wasn't for you.
That's when you came in with your book bag?
Yes.
Was that video?
Yes.
All right, bet.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was my first time out of Boston. So
Uh-huh.
that was Baltimore. Proud moment. And then now fast forward to last week, I was just in Israel.
Yes.
Right. And did something for the U.S. Embassy of Jerusalem. We did their Independence Day celebration. It's a U.S. Independence Day celebration, but there.
Yeah.
You know, because we 75 years together.
Yeah.
So two proudest moments, because these are always things that I've shied away from a lack of confidence. Like, am I capable of doing something without the vendors that I have
And you
here?
are.
Right? And so to say I'm going to do it anyway, because in despite of fear, like it's still fearful, like dealing with these people, not sure how the content is going to come out or what the product's going to look like, still saying I got this. And I surprised myself how calm I was when I was there.
Israel. So, the lion.
The lion.
You dropped some knowledge on your
The
Instagram
lion.
about the lion.
That,
correct?
well, it's part of their crest.
Gotcha.
It's like their mascot, if you would say,
Got
for
you.
Israel. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that until I was there.
Yeah.
So initially we were they tasked me with doing a luxury style picnic event.
Okay.
Then it changed to I want a carnival.
Okay.
We wasn't having a carnival. Like it just wasn't gonna happen. So I was like, let me try to add some carnival elements. So I had an elephant.
Yep.
I had a car.
The car. Yeah,
I
the blue
had
car.
the elephant. I don't have photos of it. It was in the parking lot. I did a whole backdrop with balloons and the elephant. And then I had the lion. And then when I found out about that, I was like, this is So dope, right? This is
Yeah.
it. And so then I put it right in the front, which I had to redesign when I got there,
Yeah.
right? Because now you're in the space and it's different. And now you have the embassy that has like walls and stuff that need to go up. So now it's just redesign, having to think on your feet.
So how do you jump to corporate? Like, I'm brand new, but I want corporate. I'm doing great, but I want to go corporate.
Because I'm capable of anything,
Yeah.
right? I can
But
scale
how you gonna
back.
teach me? Like, if I wanted to jump into corporate, I'm doing a phenomenal job event designing, just like you, but I'm just not getting that corporate contract.
It's the same thing. It's really putting yourself in spaces. Like I tell them, there is nothing like networking.
Yeah.
A lot of the opportunity, well, I planted the seeds,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I have, over the last few years, put myself in rooms
Mm-hmm.
that I can be recognized in the corporate realm. And that's all it is. It's networking. It's people knowing about you. So you don't see anything corporate-wise on my page, really. It's like over the top to core. But I'm capable of scaling back, right? And so that's just how I sell it. But they're still looking for that experience.
Yeah.
They just don't know. And the difference of working with me is nobody gets to see anything prior to. Not one of my clients, not one.
That's in contract.
And that is in the contract, and it's understood before you hire me. And I tell them that. So we go over, how do you want to feel? How do you want your guests to feel? What are your ideas? Like, right? And so I'm like, okay, so now let me tell
That's
you.
dope.
Now let me tell you.
All right.
And honestly, I'm the only one in this industry that I know of that operates this way. Every coach, every person I spoke to, they're like, I wish. And I know when I get to my multi-million dollar, billion-dollar clients, that may change. However, for right now, and you can ask your wife, swear to God, I learned a lot about you when I did your thing. What does he do? What is he like? Everything that was at your in-home dining was a surprise to your wife. Nothing is okayed in advance. So it's truly a trust thing that I'm going to come in and make sure that it is beautiful. That is what I can guarantee. And you are going to feel like you are a part of that planning process, although you weren't, because the elements that we talked about are encompassed in the design.
Yeah.
But I do not share a detail. Just came from a walkthrough. And they're like, oh, well, can you walk me through like what you're doing in the space? It's like, yeah, no. That's not what we do.
So do you have a video, a cameraman there when you reveal for the very first time?
So I don't.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about it because now my coach has me where I'm going to move into the luxury market. So I'm going through a whole rebrand myself.
Okay.
Right. And then that's going to require staying at events and getting that footage.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't stay at events. Only in-home dinings.
Yeah.
My events, when the client comes, I leave. I don't have to go back. The vendors will come break down, everything like that. So I don't, but I will. So I have, when I'm doing that kind of stuff, like when in Israel or the governor, because these are multiple days of installation.
Yeah.
They're talking about 4 days.
Yeah.
That's production.
Yeah.
So all my production events, I have a cameraman that will follow me around the whole time and then capture the actual event itself.
Okay. So you said you're moving into luxury, right? So now what's that transition look like? How does that transition?
So it's a rebrand. So
Yeah.
I have to change, well, she wanted me to change my name, and that is just really hard for me. I've tried to think about other names, and it just doesn't feel right. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to change my logo. I'm going to make my name more clean and simple, change the colors, but just more appealing to a luxury market. Like say you stay at a 2-star hotel versus a 5-star hotel. This 5-star hotel, when you come in, you're going to get champagne. You're going to possibly get a gift. In your room, the soap, everything is so different.
So you
Right.
focus on experience.
Experience, because that's
Got it.
what luxury clientele cares about. How do you make them feel? They're spending multi-million dollars with you. Why? Right. So it's all about making people feel a certain way, then delivering the product.
You're exactly right. I threw my first. We threw our first summit in June 24th, and so I have my team, and I'm like, all right, well, I need to focus only on experience.
Yes.
I want to make sure every speaker feels like a star.
Yes.
Like they the biggest thing on earth right now. When they when they with me at least, and then I want the audience to really be informed, right? So I want to host it because I know what questions I want to ask, so the audience could be like, oh, I never thought of it that way, or oh, I could do this right now as while they speak, and then I wanted to make sure that energy was in the room. So So I have great energy. I want the entire world, the room, to feel that energy.
Yes.
So I want them to be excited. So we really focused on experience. So I'm like, all right, well, it's different summits and conferences in the world. But one thing I go to a lot, but the experience isn't there.
Yes.
Right. Even when you walk in, you talk about network. Well, guess what? It's like, what do? You go to everybody and say, what do you do?
Right.
What do you do? All right, I'm not even interested in what you do, but I already asked. I have to listen, right? And then I have to go to the next person, hoping that I'm finding the person that I'm looking for,
Right.
right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's change that experience. Let's give a blue tag. A blue tag means you're in real estate. A green tag, guess what? You're in medical, right? And that's easier now because I'm looking at your tag. No, I want to be in real estate. Let me go to the blue tag person that's wearing a blue tag.
Right.
Just for the experience in the room, and so that I think a lot of people don't realize how important experience is.
Absolutely.
And experience is extremely valuable.
It is.
Yeah, you look nice, but did you feel like King Kong when you walked through?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Did you feel so important when you walked through those doors?
Well, and that's because you were intentional.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people aren't. Right. It's a lot of people do a lot of things because of how much money can I make.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put people on the stage that can give them some information. Right. You were intentional about how you wanted people to feel while they were there and feeling like it was a priceless event. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure what feedback you got from it, but it sounds like it was a hit. I do the same thing. I do these monthly mixers for people in the industry. I only take 25 people, but they're networking events. But because I hate networking, they're structured networking events. So when you come in, it's something different each time. But one example, you come in, you take someone else's name tag, right?
Okay.
So everyone has someone's name tag. I'm Alex today. You're Ieasha, right? And then when everyone's there, okay, now go find the person with your name tag. Ask them 3 things about themselves. All right. And so now you can't get your name tag back unless you ask the question and you remember. Then I might have somebody else's name tag. So now I had to go ask them. Everything is interactive. Then now we're having a session where whose name tag did you have? What do you know about them? Everyone has to exchange social media. You have to exchange emails. And then we'll also do a thing like musical chairs where I ask the question.
Yeah.
And now you have to switch your seat to someone else. The more information and the more comfortable they feel, the more I've created this community. And now we have this Facebook group. And you can go in there, you can ask questions. You guys know where I can get this table. Or I'm just not having a good day today. I just need some upliftment. And so my idea is creating communities. And that's why even with my workshop, I only accept 25 people. I'm very intimate. Although it's grand in terms of decor, it's 25 people.
I would come to your workshop.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, though. It's, again, the experience. So I'm not sitting in a room and you just, go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Right.
It's uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's dope. And then how much is the workshop?
So $2,000 for the workshop. I do mixers. Those are like $150. I haven't done any this year because I've been so busy, but last year I did them every month.
Got you.
Still 25 people where you have custom cocktails, you have food, decor, because I put all this pressure on myself that anytime Endless Flair's name is on something, I'm thinking people expect like this big thing. So that is already anxiety. So sometimes I'm like, I'm just not even going to do anything because I have to go big or I can't do it at all.
All right. So I want to run an idea by you.
Okay.
All right. Here it goes. And you can say, Alex, don't do that at all. Or you can say, Alex, do it. All right. All right. So this is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
10 people.
10 people.
They meet me at a location.
Okay.
I have 2 black trucks. They get in the black truck. They leave the car. They get in the black truck. They blindfold, right? They end up here. They end up here, right? We have a waitress. We have drinks. We have exotic food, and then and hopefully, because I'm hopefully it's couples, right? And so hopefully it's 5 couples, 10 people, and then I'm here with a therapist, and I'm here and talking about how to make money in your relationship, how to really boss up in your relationship, and how to go to another level with each other, right? Very intimate. And once we do that, they get back in the black trucks, blindfold again, and they go to their cars.
Okay, so I love the whole idea besides the blindfolding, unless you can get these people, especially men,
Yeah.
to be blindfolded.
Oh.
Unless, ahead of time, they're like, yes, we'll agree to this and we'll get in this truck.
Yeah.
But if it's like, yeah, just show up at this location and you're like, I don't think that's going to turn out too well. But I love the idea. And I think it's beautiful that you said therapist.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't talk about it enough. As you said, I'm the first person to talk about mental health. We just don't talk about it enough in our community. And it's important, and especially in marriage, because you're challenged way more in your marriage than you are when you're single.
Yeah.
So why aren't we creating those safe spaces for people to experience that? And then also talking about how do you make money? Like, I feel like it's a win-win. The idea of the event itself, the intimate event, I think it's beautiful.
So the reason why it's blindfold, because it's called nowhere. It's like you're not supposed to know where you're at. It's just.
But I mean, just saying
I
that
see what you're
ahead of
saying.
time. Don't think they're gonna show up and park and then you're gonna like blindfold them and then a guy is just gonna go for that, right?
Yep.
Number one. But I think, okay, this is the process. You're gonna show up here.
Yep.
They're gonna blindfold you,
Yep.
right? And do all of that. And I think if there's an understanding, I think it's a beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it would be
Very
a great
intimate.
event.
Again, everything's
I'm
on the
all
house.
about intimate events.
Huh?
Everything for me
Yeah.
is intimate. My birthday, everything is always very intimate.
Because I think Mortgage Before Marriage, I wrote the book. I love the book. It's an amazing book. And I feel like it already helped so many people, the feedback I'm getting. And I don't know what happened to humans where they think they can't build a corporation in their marriage. I don't know what happened.
Well, it's not about anything happening. I mean, you do know what happened, right? Like, let's go back 400 plus years where education is not privy to us, even today, right? Like textbooks being taken out, Black history being eliminated from a lot of books and things like that. So you know what happened.
Successful Black history.
Absolutely.
It's being eliminated. Yeah.
Absolutely. All Black history, right? Like anything that we've gone through and what we've created is being eliminated, right?
So that's what I'm saying. That's successful because we still talking about slaves. Like, I don't think schools should still focus on that when it comes to when February hit. Let's talk about slaves. I think it's more. Let's talk about inventions.
Invention.
And
So
stuff that
I
we
believe
have done.
it's all that because to me it's still a little bit of slavery.
Yep.
But that's what happened.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you get people that break the mold and break generational curses like yourself, we talk about these things and we educate the people that want to be. Some people are stuck in their ways. You're not probably getting a 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old to understand these things, right? It's like they're stuck in their way. So we know what happened, but it's our responsibility to just put the information out there and help who we can help and not focus on anything else. But nothing happened that they just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And you've been blessed enough to be around people that was able to share that information with you, or you've done the research, just like me.
I jumped off the porch like you, knowing I made all my mistakes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then I'm thinking about $300 per person. What you think?
Oh, I think it's great. It comes with food, drinks, and then a whole
drinks,
experience of like
whole
a therapist and how to make money.
How to make money?
That's light
Yeah.
to me.
Yep.
Like I could technically
How to-
charge like 500, right? Because of the experience.
Because of experience. Yeah, dope. It might be 500. Thanks, Ieasha. It might be 500. Look, you are watching Gem Drop. We don't gossip. We boss up. We'll be right back with Respect Your Breath. Kaboom.
Would you ask your mechanic for medical advice? Exactly. So when it comes to all real estate questions, call Thumbprint Realty at 617-287-9000. Thumbprint Realty, real estate done right.
So I say this all the time, and some people look at me like I'm crazy. So I said, no, I don't love my kids first at all. I don't love Joanna first at all. I love myself first, and then Joanna, and then my children.
Yes.
And I want to explain. First of all, if I don't love me, I'm not used to anyone.
Absolutely.
Just call that quits. And then if I don't love my wife, it's chaos in the house.
Yes.
It's chaotic. So my kids is now looking at chaos. But if I love my wife and she's loving me back, my kids is looking at love
Yes.
constantly. And then we love them is like double love.
Yes.
It's like, so they like overwhelmed with love.
Yes.
Right? And that's how before I had children, this is the family I wanted. Right? I want to say, no, I want to focus on my wife because I didn't understand when people say, oh, my kids come first. Like
Yeah.
the husband or the wife is sitting there like, y'all knew each other for how many years? Damn, they come first? Wow. You know, I think it's extremely important for me to keep my love on fire for Joanna.
Yes.
My love on fire for me. And now the love is just going to be crazy and overwhelming for these kids.
Overflow.
Right? So I that's just my opinion.
No, I agree.
You
I
agree?
agree. Well, I mean, I would have put God in there too.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
God,
it.
yourself, Joanna, and then the kids. I agree.
Yeah.
And so there was something circulating on social media the other day with someone saying their kids are before their wife, and I just don't understand that concept. One, again, I'm spiritual and I'm religious, and it's he who finds a good wife, right? And so I don't understand that dynamic. It sounds like a single person mindset, not a marriage mindset.
Yeah.
Like if I'm dating you, I'm not sure if you're really going to propose to me. Yeah, I'm going to, my children come first. But once you marry someone, how? And then your kids get older and they move out. And then what happens to your spouse that you were supposed to continuously grow and connect with? It doesn't make sense.
And you always win if wife and husband or wife or husband's on the same level.
Absolutely.
On the same page. How can a family lose?
Absolutely. And
Can't
then
lose.
where are the kids lacking is what I would want to know. So if you pour into your wife or you pour into your husband first and everyone feels love, everyone feels appreciated, adored, that's an overflow of love to give to the children, right? Versus I don't feel like I'm valued in this relationship, in this marriage. And so now I'm depressed and I'm sad. How can I give to my kids? Now it's unhealthy.
Correct.
Right. And so, no, I agree with how you structure your
Thank
household.
you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. All right. So, Gem Drop Podcast. We don't gossip. We boss up. And it's time to respect your breath. Ieasha James.
Yes.
Do you feel like you are respecting your breath and living in your purpose?
Absolutely. I think I talked about it a lot on this podcast about my purpose and my passion, and that I'm really focused on my purpose, which is the coaching, getting better with the public speaking. I have a public speaking coach because I believe, because what has been inserted in my heart is that I'm supposed to move the masses. So I'm supposed to speak on platforms and share my story. There's so much more that I could tell you, right? Like from childhood of being adopted and, just so many things like abuse and different stuff of what I've overcome, that I'm supposed to share that because there's people that would have committed suicide that have been through the things that I've been through in my life. And I know that I'm put here for that reason, to help other people. So design is beautiful. It's a passion. But my purpose is to help people become all they were called to be. So I am very intentional about the words that I say, what I say yes to, and what I put out into the world.
And so, coming from a rough past, do you appreciate your success even more? Or who you become? Forget about the sex. Who you become, the mindset you have now. Do you appreciate it even more?
I absolutely do, because I do not believe I would be the person that I am had I not gone through everything. So I'm not the person that's like, oh, I wish this didn't happen. It's God give me the strength to get through it, right? Because I know that this test is for a testimony for someone else, right? And so I sit there a lot. Even when it's tough, I never have, in anything that has happened in my life, ever blamed God, right? Like, why? I never asked the question, why is this happening to me? What am I supposed to do with this lesson? What am I supposed to learn? And who is this supposed to benefit? And so when I've come through is when I will go online or wherever else and share that story. It's when I have healed from whatever it is, or my test or my trial is over. So yes, I respect my breath, the position that I hold in this world, and I'm here to take up space.
What's next?
Living in the moment,
Yep.
Because I don't live in the
going
future.
luxury? You said you're going luxury?
Yeah, luxury. Like, yes, we're moving more into the luxury market. Corporate market as well. So whichever one takes off first. Honestly, for me, I've already done 5 corporate events last year. I have 7 on the books now, looking for like 2 more.
And you're going to do Celtics, Patriots, Red Sox,
I'm
the whole
going
10.
to do it all. I'm going to do
Bob Kraft's
the
next
clients
birthday.
that work for me and
Yeah.
work with me, right? Because like I explained, how I work may not work for everyone.
Yep.
So that way, every client may not be my client, but that's also okay.
I would say this before we end. My wife and I, like, you inspire us.
Really?
Just watching your videos, your work, it's amazing.
Thank you.
You're very creative. And what inspired me the most is because I look at you, I'm like, yo, I know where she's going.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone. I don't know how everyone else don't see it, or maybe they do, but I'm looking at them like, yo, she's gonna be a millionaire. She's gonna be a billionaire. She's gonna keep going, because no one can stop you.
Right.
If I look on your Instagram and say and say you don't talk, and you give clients your Instagram, then I'm like, yo, I'm hiring her, right? And I'm just looking at you now, and I'm like, it's hard not to see the future you and all the success that's following you, that you're just gonna run into, and how professional you are.
Thank you.
So, like, my wife and I, we look at your videos, we're like, yo, this is amazing, this is dope, and I just want to know, how much money do I have to save for my 40th? You know,
Well, I feel like you're gonna want to go super big.
exactly. I want to go
Right.
big.
I don't even think we could talk about the number on here because we
Okay,
don't want
got
people
you.
to know how much money
Got
you're
you.
spending.
I bet.
Because you're big.
I'm going big.
You're going big.
I'm going
and
big.
I see big dollars
Yeah,
on that.
warehouse probably. I'm
Oh
going
Jesus,
big.
warehouse. That means we have to bring in everything.
Yeah, and
right?
it might have to be the weekend. It might have to be 2 days.
whole-
We might have to turn into a conference.
Oh,
So I can get some of the money back.
Oh.
You feel me? You gotta get the money back.
Maybe do the conference the first day. and
Yeah,
then we
exactly.
do the full gala.
And do
the
some
next
VIP
day.
situation, and it's
Gonna have bottle service
and
at the
to shut the city down.
I'm here for it. We have
You
2
know?
years. We have
Yeah,
2
we had
years
2
to plan,
years.
find the perfect location.
Correct.
Yeah, and
Correct.
get the
And-
conference together.
Yeah, I think that's what's
Get
what's gonna happen.
sponsors.
Exactly.
2 years.
It's a no-brainer.
Do you know where you're gonna be in 2 years?
It's a
Not here. Like you're gonna be.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
So yeah.
Yeah. So y'all heard it here first. She's gonna plan the 40th, and Joanna and I turned 40 the same year.
I know you guys have this battle
Yep.
of who's doing the birthday the best. I
Yep,
know, right
exactly.
after each other.
I think this year I won, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah,
Her
don't.
birthday's
It's a
on
surprise,
Saturday.
surprise.
She's not gonna see this. And her birthday on Saturday. Too late. I told you I won. But thank you for coming on Gem Drop. How can people contact you?
On all social media platforms, Endless Flair. So Endless and Flair is spelled FLAIR, or info@endlessflairevents.com.
Okay, great. And when is your next session open for coaching?
In August.
Okay,
August
so-
1st.
Got you. August 1st, 2023. All right. And that's the same contact?
Yes,
if they wanna
so
join
you
the
can
program?
go onto my website. There's different tabs for everything, whether you want in-home dining, event design, or coaching. They're all there.
Okay, great. Well, whoo! Today was a great show. We learned a lot about Ieasha James, and I think what stood out the most is the mindset. Because if you have a poor mindset, it's impossible to go forward and say, I want wealth. Your mindset is everything. Like how you look at yourself is everything. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see success? Do you see happiness? Do you see love? Do you see joy? But if you don't see that, let's just work on your mindset so you can move forward. Today we will stop loving everybody else, and we will love us. I will love me. You will love you, right? And I think that was the most important message that Ieasha brought to us today, right? She didn't even, once she dropped that, now let's talk about success. Because I can't be the best event designer possible if I don't focus on my mindset. And then we talked about her signature hair, right? But most importantly, she broke it down. Well, guess what? The colors are is a signature as well. I wear bright colors. I don't wear dark because I want you to say, "Hey, how you doing? Can I talk to you?" I want to look welcoming, right? For my next client. That is huge. That's huge. So if a client feel like, you know what, I want to go talk to her. I feel good when I talk to her. I don't know. It must be the hair. No, it's the hair and the colors. She got you, right? And these are the things that we don't think about. She then dropped another gem. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And we know that, right? So I love the fact that she said, yeah, I'm successful here, but it was hard over here, right? So just being transparent is extremely important. The next big gem drop, she's a coach. I got here, I'm going to bring you with me. I got here, I'm going to bring you with me. And when I was climbing, nobody wanted to help me, but I'm going to help you. I didn't have me, but you have me. That is extremely important. So again, I want to say thank you to Ieasha James for coming on Gem Drop, for dropping a lot of gems. And guess what? We don't gossip, we boss up. I would love to keep speaking with you, but I got shit to do. See ya. God told me to meet him at a runway. Ever since, I've been taking off.